Remy Ma is in the hospital, and no, Claressa Shields is not the reason, not a vehicle accident, a health crisis, or stress. The two-time Olympic champion reportedly lost it over a fellow named Papoose, causing Remy Ma's face to appear on a UFC highlight reel. How did we go from tweeting passive-aggressively to bleeding fingernails, ripped wigs, and a stretcher outside a birthday celebration? What took place in that lavish location before security was scared to intervene? More importantly, as seen by leaked video, unnamed eyewitnesses, and a few smashed champagne flutes. Why is Papoose, Remy's husband, apparently telling people she had it coming for over a decade? Remy Ma might have survived prison because it was a purposeful confrontation rather than a fight. She wasn't ready for Claressa's hands, but worse, Remy isn't getting any help from the internet this time. With captions like, "As for everything she did to Papoose, is this a case of revenge, jealousy, or just the most public karma comeback hip-hop has ever seen?" You already know they are sharing the video. Remy Ma was hospitalized following Claressa's incident at tax, and her father said she deserved it. Let's not act like this happened overnight, and that two women weren't just swaying at each other while wearing acrylics and heels. It's messier than a love and hip-hop reunion without security on set. Yes, the reason for this immediate online outburst was an unusually silent Papoose, 3 camera crews, and a scene in front of dozens of partygoers. But let's travel back in time first. Claressa and Remy Ma Shields have feigned a nice demeanor at public events, smiling with teeth as tight as jewels, but they aren't exactly brunch best friends. But beneath the PR grins and designer shades, it was a battle, which is why the word Papoose was Remy's ride or die. The guy who defended her reputation, raised their children, and married her while she was incarcerated transformed black love into a brand. After Remy started making headlines, everything changed, and the first crack appeared. She was spotted at a BT event without her ring, which was not for the best. In her now famous voicemail, she cried, "I didn't mean to hurt him, it just happened." As the Remy Papoose dynamic soured, Claressa made 3 consecutive appearances at Papoose's battle events, always in the front row, and dressed in attire that sparked conversation. There were also a number of grainy photos of her backstage with an unnamed man. Then the social media breadcrumbs appeared. Pap shared a photo with a flame emoji here, a comment there, and in response, Claressa and his daughter said, "Family first, not cute, not uncle vibes, just energy." By this time, people were wary, and the blog started to spread. Before an ER report shattered the silence, Remy said nothing. Sources claim that on a random Thursday night in downtown Atlanta, there was a secret rooftop party with everyone pretending they weren't watching the drama unfold in real time. A black-tie dress code, champagne flowing, and an intimate invite only. Remy Ma arrived half an hour late, and the Papoose came by herself. Already there, smiling as though she had already won, was Claressa. When Remy entered the room, witnesses said the energy became icy, as if she possessed the space. According to a guest who asked to remain anonymous, that smirk was the spark for the first hour they avoided each other. Remy stayed on one side, Claressa on the other, and the tension in your gums, and then it happened. However, according to leaked audio from someone recording behind the host's table, Remy's voice can be heard clearly saying, "Say it to my face if you're bold enough to take what I built." Claressa immediately responded, "You didn't create anything. You simply lost what you never valued." Security froze, glass smashed, and Papoose simply stood there with his arms folded, as if he was watching karma do a cartwheel. What followed can only be characterized as reality TV gone real. Claressa threw the initial punch, and according to multiple witnesses, it struck her jaw with a full-on boxer's jab, not a slap or a shove, sending her flying into a champagne tower. Additionally, she struck the ice sculpture. One visitor wrote that the whole swan fell on her. Despite her bruises and stupor, Remy wasn't finished and even attempted to rush back, heels off, slightly crooked wigs, while screaming, "Don't ever touch me again." It was likely a clutch purse, but when she grabbed for it, it looked like a weapon. Even though it was much too late, security managed to stop Claressa from using another 1-2 combo that may have caused Remy to lose her teeth. When paramedics were immediately called, guess who made sure to stay out of the picture the whole time? Leaning against a wall, he sipped his drink, and like a man who had checked out before, watched the whole thing unfold. With a fractured wrist, a swollen lip, and what the physicians described as minimal trauma, but Twitter dubbed it instant karma with a left hook, Remy was brought to the emergency room. 3 distinct perspectives of the battle were recorded in a matter of hours, and the video was shared on Facebook auntie pages and TikTok Instagram clips with messages like "the cherry on top" was a widely shared tweet, including Papoose's purported response, which she had anticipated. Although that quote hasn't been confirmed, it has also not been refuted. With Remy yelling to sit up and Claressa referring to her as the people's champion, the internet is currently in chaos. In the realm of celebrity gossip, silence speaks louder than any diss track. We're just getting started though, because part 2 will dissect the exclusive reports, celebrity responses, and Remy's team's attempts and failures to alter the story. Wait until you hear what Claressa reportedly told paramedics when Remy was bleeding on the ground. It's messier than anyone expected, so Remy is in the middle of the situation. Since she is in the emergency hospital with her wrist in a brace and her wig barely holding up, the internet is celebrating it like a national holiday. The altercation was more than just a brawl though, as a witness claims that Claressa gave her a piercing look and told her, "Next time, don't play with someone who fights for real." She then turned around, adjusted her earrings, and posed for photographs with fans outside the place. "Yes," said LFIE. However, if you felt it was extreme, you should wait to hear what transpired next. Just 3 hours later, Remy's team released a flimsy statement after going straight into damage control mode, pretending it was a PR fire drill. Following the incident, Remy thanks everyone for their support and asks for solitude as she heals from a private conflict that suddenly got out of hand and resulted in her being pushed through an ice sculpture in front of 2 DJs and half the hip-hop community. What did you anticipate most from the overwhelming support? No matter how hard Remy's team tried to feign pity, the public wasn't buying it, so let's talk about that. In less than a day, the hashtag #RemyOutro garnered 6 million hits, and TikTok was flooded with side-by-side breakdowns like a boxing battle, slow-motion punches set to R&B from the 1990s, and remix edits. One producer said in the caption of their widely shared video, Claressa Shields on ESPN, "Preserve black love," and threw the whole person while Claressa was as quiet as a ninja. Fans loved the one Instagram story that showed her drinking tea with the timestamp 3:11 a.m. But let's not forget the real plot twist. Papoose was seen leaving the party with Claressa arm in arm, while his ex-wife was in the hospital bed, bruised and bandaged. Yes, you read that right. A grainy video from a parking lot cam showed Pap opening the passenger door for Claressa and giving her an embrace that lasted far too long to be friendly. Fans went wild when he fixed the door while Remy was still recovering. A screenshot of a group conversation that purportedly showed Remy's former assistant saying, "Remy has been warned. was leaked while all of this was happening in public. Months ago, Claressa advised her to stop treating Pap disrespectfully behind the scenes because she believed she was untouchable. Now, according to this source, Remy was challenged by Claressa weeks prior, who warned her to stop using Pap's allegiance as a means of gaining attention and to stop disparaging him in private while posing as the Black Love Queen in public. Remy apparently ignored her warning. The public swiftly reacted negatively to her because it was about respect, not just love. Though you had a coming out moment, let's be honest, this wasn't simply a fight. It was a climax and a public reckoning. The reply videos were harsh, speaking of the internet. Remy Ma from Rap Queen to Run Down by Claressa is a 25-minute breakdown that was shared by a YouTuber and acted as a warning. As if it were a battle from Love and Hip Hop Anime, another TikTok creator recreated the full fight using AI voiceovers. Then followed the influencer think pieces, which were full of phrases like she rapped about loyalty, but caught karma in the form of a jab that wasn't a fight but was a lifestyle correction. Over 30 tweets were reviewed in Twitter threads that showed how Remy's collapse was a prime example of what happens when one's private actions and public persona diverge. Pap didn't tell Claressa to fight her. He didn't stop it either. That's how you know he's done. He let that woman handle what Remy had been avoiding for years. Some even pulled out old interviews that analyzed Remy's previous claims about being too real and never backing down. But the most outrageous moment took place during a live radio show in New York, when an alleged friend of Papoose called in anonymously. Let it sink in. He allowed it to occur. If that isn't the silent statement of the year, I'm not sure what is. According to insiders, Remy's team is thinking of charging him, but it's difficult because security was slow to respond. Some witnesses say Remy threw the first glass, and the venue's security camera fortunately missed it. Now that Remy Ma is a meme, a warning story, and a potential remix, the damage is done, regardless of whether fans are calling it justice or a setup. Claressa Shields is a living example of not mentioning my man, while Papoose posts fitness videos and Bible verses online as if he's sinless and drinking protein shakes. Remy Ma is now the wounded villain, but this drama isn't finished yet since the internet has taken sides. Unbeaten champion Claressa Shields and hip-hop's most quotable philosopher, Papoose, are tweeting quotes about inner peace while sipping smoothies. But beyond the chaotic party and viral memes, the real fight was only beginning because Remy's team did what everyone expected. They filed legal documents as soon as she was discharged from the hospital. Indeed, Claressa Shields was named as the principal aggressor in a full-fledged assault claim that claimed she was the victim of a malicious and targeted physical attack that resulted in physical harm and psychological distress. They are also bringing a gross negligence lawsuit against the event organizers, alleging that the venue lacked adequate security. Shields has no comment at this time. Her fists did the talking, but if necessary, she'll let her legal team finish the conversation. Claressa's team responded with the energy we expected. Meanwhile, sources close to Claressa disclosed that she isn't sleeping due to court threats and has already been offered a documentary deal about the night. Yes, you read that right. A documentary working title: When Queens Get Hit at Night. Twitter reports that Z's network is already bidding as Remy's legal team prepares court filings, but loyalty resisted streaming platform TBD. Remy's PR team also made a great effort to salvage her reputation, setting up photo shoots, interviews, and even an attempt to release an inspirational recovery video of her journaling from her hospital bed, but fans weren't buying it. The comment section looked like a public execution. You wrote "Black Love Forever" in that journal, but people questioned the sincerity. Hours after the altercation, Remy allegedly texted a friend privately, but the internet and one petty former employee leaked the conversation, which said, "It was never about Pap, it was about making her snap." And she did. Pause. You're telling us. The battle was started by Remy. She was certain Claressa would fall for the ruse. She intentionally provoked, threw shade, caused confusion, and arrived late. Now, that's what the streets are saying, and it sparked a huge wave of rethinking. She wanted to regain control of the story by positioning Claressa as the antagonist, so Remy attempted to lure her into reacting. After remaining eerily silent during the lawsuits, Papoose posted a quote the following morning that read, "A liar always weaves their own noose." No captions, no tags, just smoke. By this time, the backlash has officially reached the corporate level, and companies that previously worked with Remy have started to quietly back out. She has been removed as a brand ambassador by a beauty company. Her planned reality TV relaunch has been canceled, and a podcast agreement has been placed on indefinite hold. According to insiders, networks are concerned because Remy is now seen as unstable, unpredictable, and unreliable, while Claressa's fan sites have increased, describing her as the person who delivered truth with impact. Timeline. Overnight, a mural of her face showing the words, "She hit harder than karma," appeared in Detroit. Now, for the final twist that no one saw coming, despite all the chaos, threats, and interviews Remy was getting ready for, guess what she did? Unaccompanied by a wig, a public relations staff, or cameras, she appeared in person at Papoose's next event. Clearly injured and embarrassed in public, Remy entered the location where Pap was holding a neighborhood gathering. What was it that he did? He strolled past her as though she were a stranger at his event, staring at her without blinking or acknowledging her. Witnesses report that Remy remained still for a fans realized that it was over when she left without saying anything for a minute. Remy Ma have survived prison conflict and hip-hop politics, but she couldn't survive a woman with a grudge and a left hook. This included the marriage and reputation, as well as the entire legacy she attempted to rebuild. The last thing anyone ever expected Papoose to do was to leave her alone. Was it Remy Ma who planned her downfall? Will Papoose ever let her come back? Has Black Love's king resigned at last? Regardless of your side, you have to acknowledge that this is the messiest narrative because it was more than simply a fight. It was a public reckoning. Twist of the year. So now that the wounds are going away, the lawsuits are coming in, and Papoose has packed his bags and dipped emotionally, we must ask. From covert shade to opulent parties, this wasn't just a fight. It was a televised karma collision, and Claressa didn't just throw punches. She also threw reminders. Loyalty retaliated with gloves off when Remy played games with them. But what are your thoughts? Was Remy always arranging the altercation to win people over? Was Pap ultimately more concerned with peace than performance? And is Claressa now a villain or a hero in a hoodie? Please use the comments area to express your opinions. Since this isn't black and white, it's blurry, bruised, and making the rounds. We have more leaked footage from inside sources and celebrity reactions coming your way, so don't sleep. Click like, subscribe, and ring that bell like it's Claressa's left hook if you're the type of person who thrives on betrayal, consequences, and on-camera altercations.